Tonight is leftover night. Using these steaks, they all stiff and cold from last night coming out the refrigerator that we had left over. And that's tomato. Got some tomatoes cut up, some Parmesan cheese and some other cheese, some basil and some Italian seasoning, some minced garlic, and some onion. May throw some more tomatoes in, but I'm just in some heavy whipping cream. This is one of them nights I'm just throwing leftovers together to make something. Don't know for sure that, but I also got some fettuccine pasta that I cooked and threw in my strainer to cool down so I can get the other stuff ready. But yeah, it's ready. So it's gonna be a pasta, probably some type of Alfredo, homemade, my own thing. First thing I do is I throw my onions in here and not really saute them, but make them translucent, soften them up a little bit. That's the first thing. And I got it in olive oil. I got it over high heat, but I'll turn it down now so they're starting to get where I want them at. Next, since I'm good in the Italy, I'll throw a little red wine in it. Any kind, that's all I had, just lay it around, so I just decided to do that. And next, I'm gonna throw me a small carton of heavy whipping cream. This is 16 ounces. And I let that simmer down. Okay, that's all my steak from yesterday, leftover ribeyes I had. And now I got it cut up, got the fat cut off of it. And I got my heavy whipping cream and everything else is simmered and sticking up like I like it. I'm gonna teach y'all something too. A lot of people think that if you look on the controls on your oven, your stove, where it says simmer and all that stuff, that doesn't mean anything. A simmer is when you got a bubble. Like actually this right here, if I was simmering something, that's too fast. Simmer is when you got something on the heat and it's so low that it's bloop, 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 bloop. It's a bubble like that every now and then. And if you're cooking something and you're trying to simmer it, especially like different dishes with meats and stuff, if you cover it and simmer it for 30-40 minutes at that slow simmer where it's bloop, 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 bubbles barely popping through like that, it is so good and so tender. But like I said, like that's right here, this is actually a light ball. That's not considered a simmer, but that's why they do it on that simmer, the one that says simmer. This is the other ingredients. I got my pasta. That's actually tomatoes out of the garden that me and Grayson got in the back. And they doing good. We got a lot of tomatoes, a lot of other stuff coming up too. This is Italian seasoning and basil. This is garlic, minced garlic, fresh minced garlic. Tomatoes, I'm going to throw that in. And this is Parmesan cheese. And it's another cheese. I can't remember the name of it, but it's what Chick-fil-A uses and their macaroni and cheese. If you had it, it's real good. But that cheese is just a tab of that goes in there. And it is expensive because just for that little daggone, a little piece about like this big is like $20 in the store. It is expensive, but it's good. And it's strong too, and it's salty, so it doesn't take a lot of it. I got the steak cut up and mixed in. And the thing about my steak, I cut it in lengths and then I cut it across the grain. You always do that so your stuff won't be tough. And then I simmer it in here sort of warm it up. We got intruders, sort of warm it up and get everything hot and ready. So when I add the stuff, everything else in, it'll finalize. But I must cover this and actually cook it for maybe like 5 minutes so it heats still steak up good.
Are you video it?
Say what? You want some?
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Let me finish it. See, that's the inspector. But get back with you. I'm getting ready to cover this and let it heat that steak up and cook it for another couple of minutes. Throw my garlic in now, minced garlic. I meant to throw it in right at the end with the onions so to go ahead and get the rawness out of it, but it'll be okay. It'll cook in while I'm letting the steaks cook and stuff. No big deal. Things happen, but it'll still be in there. So It's gonna be all right. Cover this back up, and like I said, I'm gonna give it maybe a good 5 minutes. Get the steaks hot and ready. Okay, I got that like I wanted. Everything's nice. Now I'll sprinkle my seasons in. I got a lot of them. I like to go heavy on stuff when I do it. Like I say, I don't want to get in a little bit. I'm going deep if I'm going in all the way. And I like to taste it if it's in there. Stir that in. I won't really add salt because like I said, that cheese is very salty. And since I didn't have fresh herbs, I'll cover it up and let that simmer around for a couple of minutes so you can get that dryness out of those herbs. Show you something else that I always do also. I don't care if it's spaghetti or what I do. I like it this way. Look at here. See how all the noodles are short? Maybe like maybe 2 to 3 inches long. Pretty much all of them are like that. As I'm taking them out of the box, I break them. I slide out maybe 2 3 inches, break it. Slide another 2 or 3 inches, break it. To me, I like it that way because it seems like it gets a lot more season on the noodle versus it's a long noodle. It just gets like a little bit like it's laying on it. Like that, it seems like it absorbs it a lot more. It gives it a lot more flavor. And plus, you can eat it easier than if you have to twist the fork in it and do all that kind of stuff. Ran some more cold water through them, but that's the first thing. Like I said, when you pull your noodles off, if you got to get other stuff ready, you want to keep them wet. If not, the heat, they'll get mushy and stuff like that when they just lay on each other. But see how loose they are? They're not sticking together. Because when I throw them in the sauce, they'll heat back up again. But you see what I'm saying also about how short they are? I like them like that because you can grab them with a fork and it's a whole lot easier to eat. I did taste it and it did have a little bit of salt, even though the cheese is not that salty. You gotta get you some of these. Put a little bit of black pepper in it. Not a lot. That stuff that looks like black pepper, that's the seasons in the herb. And I'll put a dash of salt. And now I'll add my cheese in. It doesn't take long when that goes in. So you have to stay here and stir it. You can see that it doesn't take long at all. Because as soon as it hits that cheese and that heavy cream, that's where your Alfredo comes from. Those two coming together. A match made in heaven. And now I'm getting ready to get the noodles. As soon as it's sticking up a little bit, I'm going to throw the pasta in. I got my cheese in, and I don't know why. Like I said, I just do my own thing. Something just told me to throw them in there, just to see them in there more than anything. So I'm gonna stir them through, and just like I said, you do whatever you want. You do everything your way. I do it mine. That's just something to look at. And I'm gonna throw some pasta in there and mix it in. Okay, I put the lid on it, simmer it down. Everything's good and ready now. You see that? I can't get you in close, but I don't know what they call it. Steak Alfredo, leftover steak Alfredo, ribeye Alfredo. But the steak is really, really tender because I simmered it down in there for a while, and I cut it across the grain as you need to do any steak or any piece of meat. So it's real tender, and that's it. One more thing, this comes in the adult section of Blue Horizon. I have to show you this later. But this comes out of the adult section of the DCF Homes books and chapters. It's a good old refreshing rum, pineapple, and coconut drink. And it is good. I don't like beer or none of that junk. I don't drink that junk. But I like nice, refreshing drinks like this, though. With certain meals, it complements it and makes it perfect.